and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would everyone please bow their head? Dear Lord, we thank you for bringing us here tonight. We ask that you watch over this council and give them the wisdom and the strength to make the right decisions for the great city of Newman. And this we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bob. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis. Hutchins.
Present.
Candia. Mayor Pro Tem Martina.
Present.
Mayor Caton.
Present, thank you. Declaration of conflicts of interest. Seeing none. Report out of closed session. Staff was given direction and there's no reportable action. Go to item 6, ceremonial matters. I don't believe we have any this evening. 7, items from the public, non-agenda item. Any member of the public wish to address the council, please go to the podium, state your name for the record, please. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Natalie Karsten, and I'm the new branch manager at the Newman Library. I am very much enjoying working with the community here. I just wanted to take a moment to let you know about some of the upcoming programs that will be available at the library. Storytime is back at 10 a.m. on Wednesday mornings and will run through June 18. Our next children's craft is Tuesday, June 3 at 3:30, and we will be making origami dogs and butterflies. The next family game night will be held on June 17. We will have card and board games available, and many thanks to the Friends of the Library for all their help in sponsoring us with these programs. And most exciting, it is summer reading time, and it kicked off this past Saturday, and it will run through August 2nd. And we have 4 categories for readers this year. Children ages 0 to 8 get a reading log and all sorts of toys and prizes for reading at least 20 minutes a day. And tweens ages 9 to 12 also get a reading log, and they can pick out a prize after reading at least 30 minutes a day. Teens ages 13 to 18 get weekly prizes, including Baskin-Robbins gift cards and an entry into a drawing for the grand prize, which is a Barnes & Noble Nook. Adults have their own program for which they write a short review of books they read and are entered into a grand prize for a tablet. And all of these free programs are brought to you through the 1/8 cent dedicated sales tax that supports the library. So please stop in and visit sometime, and I hope to see you at the library. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Appreciate it, and welcome to Newman.
Thank you.
Okay, item 8, consent calendar. A is waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions except by title. B is approval of the warrants. C is approval of the minutes of the May 13, 2014 meeting. And D is adopt resolution number 2014 next in number, a resolution rejecting the claim of Arturo Moreno. Council direction?
I'd like to make a motion to remove item C from the consent calendar.
Okay, item C has been removed. We'll go to, for items A, B, and D.
I'd ask for approval of items A, B, and D on the consent calendar.
I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with council members Davis and Candia absent. Now for item C, approval of the minutes. Bob, you can make a motion.
Mayor, we only have 2 members
Oh, I'm
of
sorry.
the council
I
that
make
were
a
here at
motion
that
that-
meeting, so therefore we're going to have to carry these minutes over to the next
No,
meeting.
We can vote
You
on
were
it.
absent.
you
at
can
that
vote
meeting.
on it
We
as
can
long
vote on
as
it.
it's minutes.
Just for 2?
It's a
Okay.
quorum
Just for
of,
the purpose of the minutes, we can vote.
Okay. I so move that I make a motion that we approve the minutes of May 13th, 2014 meeting.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries with council members Davis absent, Candia absent, and Councilmember Hutchins abstain, or not participating.
Yeah.
Okay. We go to item 9, public hearing. A is adopt resolution number 2014 next in number, resolution authorizing the change in garbage collection rates per prior contractual agreement. Lou?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. In 2010, the city signed an agreement for refuse services with Bertolotti Disposal. The agreement laid out the method of adjusting rates. Even numbered years, the rates are adjusted 80% by the 12-month average of the Consumer Price Index and 20% by the change in the Stanislaus County waste-to-energy, and Fink Road landfill tipping fees. The tipping fees this year offset each other, one going up, the other going down, the exact same percentage. The Consumer Price Index 12-month average increased 1.5%. The effective rate then becomes an increase of 1.2%. 94% of our customers are residential and either have a 90 or a 60-gallon container. With this rate change, the service rate for a 90-gallon container will go up 26 cents. The 60-gallon will increase 18 cents, a small impact on our residents. In 2010, the city also went through a Prop 218 procedures to set the method where rates could be calculated. According to our legal counsel, rate schedules or a method to calculate changes to rates can be adopted for 5 years before going through a Prop 218 procedure again. Since this is year 4, we're not limited by Prop 218 voting. Staff recommends that council open a public hearing, take comment, and then adopt the resolution authorizing the change in the refuse rates. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions or comments for Lou? No. Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Any members of the public wish to comment? Seeing none, I'll close public hearing, bring it back to council for direction.
I so move that the council approve resolution number 2014, next number, approving the garbage collection rate change per prior contractual agreement.
I'll second that motion.
Been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0 with council members Candia and Davis absent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go to item B, first reading and introduction of ordinance number 2014, next in number. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newman approving a second amendment to the Sherman Ranch Development Agreement.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll go ahead and take this one. Members of the council, tonight we have before you a second amendment to the Sherman Ranch Development Agreement. This will require a public hearing, and again, it'll be conducted first reading. In 2004 is when the city and the SEM Hearthstone originally agreed to a development agreement for the Sherman Ranch project, which is kind of located in the northeastern section of town. Currently, that project's about 30% built out. In April of 2011, the first amendment to that development agreement was adopted by the council, and that amendment came forth through a settlement agreement that we had with the SEM Hearthstone relating to some plan check and some inspection fees litigation that occurred earlier in 2010. As part of that first amendment, there was 2 programs that they would like to carry forward at this particular time. And that's what's set forth in this second amendment. The first program is the city is partner in a home consortium. Home is a program that helps low-income qualified buyers get into their homes. What we would do is set up a program here where we set aside $125,000. If SEM can produce qualified buyers under HUD requirements and sell a house to them, they can be reimbursed our impact fees, thereby helping to reduce the cost to the buyer by that like amount. Currently, that's about between $9,000 and $10,000 that they would be credited with. Under this particular amendment, that program would continue until June 30th of 2015. The second program involved building permits. Now, again, the same type of program existed in the First Amendment where they submitted building permits and we extended those building permits to a life expectancy of up to 2 years. Meaning, in this particular case, any building permit that was submitted on or prior to December 31st of 2015 would automatically be extended till 2015. I've ran that proposal by our building officials, and because we just recently adopted a new building code and the changes weren't that substantial, he doesn't have any issue with granting this particular request of a 2-year life cycle for the building permits at this particular time. It should be noted that the developer will have to pay the fees in effect at the day we issue the permit. So, and then why that's important is because every year we have to go through a methodology and have a hearing where we can raise our fees according to the engineer's index or the CPI, if you will, to adjust for inflationary factors and the cost of construction. So if we were to allow them to just stick with the prices that were in 2013, we would be shortchanging our impact fee program. But since they have agreed to pay the fee in effect at the time the building permit is issued, we will not lose, our impact fee program will not be shortchanged. So with that, we do not see any financial impact to the city with these amendments. So therefore, staff is recommending that we move forward with the second amendment to the Sherman Ranch Development Agreement and first conduct a public hearing.
Questions or comments from Michael?
Michael, just a quick question on 8.03. The offset fund, the $125,000 offset fund.
Yes.
Now, looks like it came before from federal home funds. Where's it going to come from now?
Federal home funds. It's the same program.
Same program, okay.
Correct. Originally, Councilmember Hutchins, there was two pots of money. One was a redevelopment fund and the other was federal home fund.
Right.
As we know, redevelopment no longer exists, so therefore the only potential pot of money on this one was the federal home fund program. And we've worked, our planner, Ms. Ocasio, has worked with our home consortium lead agency, and we've secured that funding.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wish to address the council? Seeing none, bring it back to council for direction, please.
I so move, number one, conduct a public hearing. Number two, conduct first reading of ordinance number 2014, an ordinance approving the Second Amendment to the Sherman Ranch Development Agreement.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0 with Councilmembers Candia and Davis absent. Thank you. Okay, go to item 10, regular business. A is first reading and introduction of ordinance 2014, next to number, amending Title 5 zoning, adding Chapter 29 urban growth boundary of the City of Newman Code. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. So this is a urban growth boundary ordinance that we've talked about a couple times. It dates back into September 2012 when Stanislaus Lafko passed an ag preservation policy. As part of that policy, cities have to develop an ag preservation plan that utilizes one of several methodologies for saving ag land that are spelled out in the preservation policy. One of those policies is to submit a urban growth boundary to the voters and having it approved by the voters. Early this year, we started having this dialogue with the council, and on April 2nd of 2014, staff presented, or April 12th of 2014, we presented a draft version of the urban growth ordinance boundary to the council. The council generally looked in favor of that and gave staff permission to go ahead and meet with LAFCO staff as well as LAFCO board members. We presented them an advanced copy of this before our meeting, and then we sat down with, again, LAFCO staff and LAFCO board members, two board members, and solicited their comments. Each of the staff and the board members were generally positive towards the ordinance, and we let them know that we were going to be moving forward. If they had any final comments they wanted to submit in writing, please do so. After we published this staff report and agenda, LAFCO found the desire to go ahead and submit a letter to us, and that letter is in front of you. So throughout the day today, we have been working with LAFCO staff to address the concerns that were identified in their letter.
So I don't have a copy of the letter.
Oh, my apologies. I think our staff left it out. I'm apologize. Let me,
You need a copy of this, of the new one? I've already read it, so.
Mayor, there were a couple of main issues. Their main issue dealt with, and you can see it, it's on It's dealing with the amendment procedures spelled out in section D of the ordinance. So it'll be section 529-103D1. The original wording for that stated, the city council may, by a majority vote, amend the Newman urban growth boundary described herein for non-residential uses if it deems it to be in the public interest, provided that the amended boundary is adjacent to the Newman urban growth boundary established by the general plan amendment. The intent of that was if, as we are setting our urban growth boundary that matches our sphere of influence, if we have Keystone come in and they want to locate in the city of Newman, but we don't have any land available for them, and this just, I'm going to just take an arbitrary corner, I'm going to say Stir and 33, and they wanted to go there. The council, through this process, can consider that. Now, ultimately, that would take a general plan amendment, it would take an environmental impact report, public hearings, and all the like. You couldn't just amend it willy-nilly. The LAFCO had some issues with that particular wording, so again, working with LAFCO staff, we've now amended that, and you should have the new wording in front of you today, and it's underlined and bolded. The new wording would say, the city council may, by a majority vote, amend the Newman urban growth boundary described herein for non-residential uses if it deems to be in the public interest. The new wording would be consistent with the intent of this ordinance, provided that the amended boundary is adjacent to the Newman urban growth boundary established by this general plan amendment, and an equal or greater amount of land is removed from the existing sphere of influence / urban growth boundary. The result of the action would be a negative or neutral impact on the amount of land within the urban growth boundary. Such amendment may be adopted only if the city council makes the following finding. The land subject to the proposed Newman urban growth boundary amendment is immediately adjacent to the existing compatibly developed areas, and the applicant for inclusion of land within the urban growth boundary has provided to the city evidence that the fire department, police department, Department of Public Works with jurisdiction over such lands have adequate capacity to accommodate the proposed development and provide it with adequate public services. Now, so what the intent was here is if the council elects to move forward with an urban growth boundary, what you're doing is setting aside an area of land that would be earmarked for urbanization. And if this rare instance came in where you needed to amend it, you can amend it by taking out land as part of the sphere of influence, take that out and add additional land so there's no net increase of acreage inside the urban growth boundary. It's still net neutral or it's a negative. You're not expanding the amount of land open for urbanization. So that, and LAFCO also wanted to make sure that, consistent with what they're doing and consistent with this ordinance, that it is compatible with the areas adjacent to it, and we can provide services, fire services, police service, and fire service. Now, we would have to be able to provide those anyways. I mean, that's all part of LAFCO anyways. You have to show up to LAFCO with a plan on how you plan to provide fire, police, water, sewer, and all the like services, so you can't get around that. But in order to spell that out, we did so to help appease LAFCO staff. The other ones were there were 3 minor corrections that we made in, again, you can see them in your modified ordinance. They asked that the word generally be removed. I don't think it's a big issue. It was in the original one we got from Thousand Oaks, but we went ahead and removed it. The word redesigning was used instead of redesignating. And then the last one, they had requested that the language that's consistent in, again, same section amendments, but it's in C where it says that it's not reasonably feasible to accommodate the proposed development by redesignating land due to size, shape, and/or location. They wanted us to use that due to size, shape, and location on the one below, but it's really, the one below is for, to comply with state housing laws, and it's not really an appropriate fit to use that language there. So once we described that to them, they went ahead and said that they agreed that that was not an appropriate place to use due to size, shape, or location on that one. With that, and we submitted these changes to LAFCO staff today. They responded with an email saying they are supportive of the city's urban growth boundary ordinance. So with that, if the council so desires, what we would ask is, we go back into the staff report here. We would move forward with a first reading tonight, an adoption, and a second reading on the 10th. The matter would then be sent forward to the County Board of Supervisors to be put on the November ballot. This ordinance would be subject to voter approval in November. If the council again so desires, the measure would read urban growth boundary measure. This would be on all City of Newman ballots. Shall the ordinance amending the City of Newman general plan to create an urban growth boundary be adopted? Our electorate would be asked to vote either an affirmative yes or to vote no on that one. If they voted a no, the ordinance would not go into effect. We would not have an urban growth boundary. If they voted yes, the final stages in late December, early January would take place to amend the general plan and to get that all into place in terms of the final process. The city staff does not believe this will have a direct fiscal impact. The urban growth boundary already, as you know, matches our current general plan sphere of influence. We've already planned for that as part of our general plan that was adopted in 2007. That's a 2030 general plan. The proposed measure that you're looking at is a 25-year measure that would contain urbanization or growth into that general plan boundary until 2040. So, as you know, we've looked at the numbers and we have adequate land to support the residential growth side. We have adequate provisions in this ordinance that would allow the council to amend the non-residential use side if we fell below 100 acres or if a strange situation occurred that we needed to do it sooner. That would be under amendment procedure number 1. I can answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Just one quick thing on the minor corrections. 103B5 only has 2 sections. I think what it should be is 102.B.5.
Excuse me, on which one?
Section 5.29.103.
Oh, yeah, that should be 102.
2,
Yeah,
okay.
correct, I'm sorry. Yes. I think the correct change is shown on the ordinance, but I might have put a typo on there. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, council direction.
I would move that we conduct the first, or is adopt ordinance 2014 next in number, and ordinance adding the Title V zoning, Chapter 29 urban growth boundary to the Newman Municipal Code with amendments as agreed to with LAFCO.
I second that motion.
Been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0 with Councilmembers Candia and Davis absent. Okay, thank you. Item B, report on the lighting and landscape maintenance district for fiscal year 2014-2015. One is adopt resolution number 2014 approving the annual report for the lighting and landscape maintenance district for fiscal year 2014-15. And 2 would adopt resolution number 2014 next in number declaring its intent to levy and collect assessments for the lighting and landscape maintenance district for fiscal year 2014-2015 and declaring the intention of the council to conduct a public hearing concerning the levy of assessments.
Good evening, City Mayor and City Council members. The city of Newman has a total of 15 zones within the lighting and landscape maintenance district within the city. These zones represent the general nature, location, and extent of improvement to be maintained with an estimate of the cost to maintain and service the improvement. In 2010, the lighting and landscape maintenance district rates were increased through a Proposition 218 process. The district also approved an annual cost of living inflator. A 2.45% inflator per benefit unit, which is based on the consumer price index applied to the district budget for fiscal year 2014 and 15. On April 22nd, 2014, City Council authorized the first step in the process, initiating proceedings for the levy and collection of assessment for the district fiscal year 2014 and 15, and ordering the preparation of the annual report. Therefore, staff recommend that City Council approve the fiscal year 2014-15 annual report for the district and declare its intention to levy and collection assessment for the district for fiscal year 2014-15 and declare the intention of the council to conduct a public hearing concerning the levy of assessment. Happy to answer to any question you may have.
Questions or comments of Sim?
This may seem like a crazy question.
Any question?
We look at a CPI on one thing as being 1.5%. We look at a CPI on something else as being 2.45. Is each thing separate under the CPI?
There are many different CPIs, but I'm going to turn that over to Lou because that's his
Yes.
specialty.
Yeah, basically what we have is, the one that was on mine for Bertolotti was an average of the 12 months CPI. So it was looking at the average of the numbers from January to January, 2-year comparisons. What he's looking at is a much shorter period, only a single year. So when you combine mine was looking at 2 years. One was obviously a lot lower than what is the 2.45, and his is only for the single 2.45 year.
It's a single year, where yours was 2 year.
Yep.
Okay. I looked at that and I said, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we need separate motions on item 1. Is there a motion?
I so move that we adopt resolution number 2014, next number, approving the annual report for the lighting and landscape maintenance district for fiscal year 2014-2015.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0 with council members Candia and Davis absent. For item 2,
I move that we adopt resolution number 2014, next in number, declaring its intention to levy and collect assessments for the lighting and landscape maintenance districts for fiscal year 2014-15.
I second that motion.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0 with council members Candia and Davis absent. Thank you. Go to item C, first reading and introduction of ordinance 2014, next in number, amending Title IV Building Regulations, Chapter 4.11, Floodplain Management of the Newman City Code. Kristen?
Yeah, good evening again. After the community rating system, which is called the CRS, the specialist conducted an evaluation and verification meeting on May 6th. The city became the first CRS community in Stanislaus County. However, there are 2 revisions and 1 addition to the current floodplain management ordinances were requested by FEMA Region 9 staff, which includes minor revisions in the definition section, which is specifying the adoption date for the flood insurance rate map, that is September 29th, 1978. The second revision is regarding the designation of the community floodplain administrator section. So currently, the flood administrator for the city is city manager, but that will be changed to city manager or designee. The last item is addition to the base flood elevation sections. So base elevation section will be added to the current floodplain management ordinance. Upon adoption of this change, the city will be in full compliance with the FEMA CRS program requirement. Therefore, the city recommends that the city council introduced by title a waive first reading of ordinance, amending Title IV building regulations. A formal public hearing on this matter will be scheduled for the June 10th, 2014 City Council meeting. Happy to answer to any question you may have.
Any questions or comments for consent?
Will the new flood control that's been approved by the Army Corps, will that affect any of this at all, since it's outside of the city?
It will, because it'll provide us an additional layer of protection. The question that was raised by some of county staff was, would this particular project, the CRS, affect that project? And so we went directly to the Army Corps of Engineers, and they gave us an answer of no. It will only enhance the secondary project. So by us becoming a CRS community, that enhances our ability to get more money for the Orr-Stimmick Creek project.
Thank you.
Just for information, that's the Army Corps Engineers project, which is a Chevron levy project. So for that specific project, there is a region-wide effort to secure some fund because the project costs over $40 million. Even though we can get some federal grant, about $20 million, but still we need to match $20 million from the local. So we don't have enough for fund available at this point. However, if we work all regionally, so most of the city in Central Valley working together, and the city staff provide our concern, our situation. So our region group in Central Valley listed the Chevron levy project as the second priority. So FEMA staff is really happy with that because that might increase the attention from the Congress so that they can issue additional fund to City of Newman. So we are working on the part as well. However, CRS will be helping on the current situation, especially the flood insurance premium is keep going up. That will be impacting on that one because we can get some discount on it. So that's a separate projects. The city still working on both sides at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, council direction?
I so recommend that the city council introduce by title and waive first reading of ordinance number 2014, next number, amending Title IV Building Regulation, Chapter 4.11, floodplain management.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0 with council members Candia and Davis absent. Thank you. Item D, authorize the mayor to sign an application for FEMA National Flood Insurance Program Community Rating System.
Yes, the FEMA, as I explained, the FEMA CRS program has allowed the city to develop several new flood protection measures, emergency action plans, storm drain standard operation procedures, and so forth. So next step in the CRS process to send out the signed CRS application packages to FEMA and get the final flood insurance discount rate based on the CRS evaluation. Therefore, they recommend the city mayor sign an application for the FEMA CRS, the program. Happy to answer to any question you may have.
Any additional questions or comments for consent? Was there a motion to give me the ultimate signature?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I so move
You're
that,
going to leave it okay, Bob?
I so move that we authorize the mayor to sign an application for FEMA National Flood Insurance Program Community Rating System.
There's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0 with council members Candia and Davis absent. Yeah. Just as long as I'm not financially responsible. Item E, adopt resolution 2014, next in number, resolution approving an application to receive a PG&E on-bill financing 0% loan for street lighting conversion project and authorize city manager to execute associated documents. Kasim?
Yeah, thank you. The city staff has worked closely with PG&E to upgrade the existing 370 city-owned street light from high-pressure sodium to energy-efficient LED technology. The city currently spends about $33,000 per year on the existing 370 street light fixtures. The estimated total the city would spend each year for the LED street light would be around $9,977, which resulting in saving of $23,618 per year for the city. In order to conduct this LED street light conversion project, on-bill financing, which is called OBF, will be used, which is funded by California utility customers and administered by the PG&E under the California Public Utility Commission. The loan issued on the OBF are interest-free, unsecured loans to fully pay for the energy efficiency project using the energy saving from the proposed project. The cost saving and rebate are projected to fully offset the 0% loan payment approximately in 60 years and 4 months. This is a summary of this project. The first year energy saving would be around $23,600. Avoided maintenance expense in the first year would be $2,600. The annual CO2 reduction would be around 90,000 pounds. Total expected general fund and LLD fund saving during the 20-year life of the LED street light will be over $315,000. So there is 10-year warranty on the LED street light fixtures. So we expect that there would be very much less maintenance or effort on the LED street light. So basically, the city keep paying the same amount we pay for the 370 street light next 60 years until we pay off the 0% interest loan. After that, the PG&E bill will be reduced dramatically. Therefore, the staff recommend the City Council approve a resolution for an application to receive a PG&E OBF 0% loan for conversion of the street light to energy efficient fixtures, and authorize the city manager to execute associated document. We have the PG&E staff here to answer any question you have.
Any questions or comments of Kasim or the PG&E
Yes.
staff member?
Now, is this strictly for street lights?
Yes, there are many street light in the LLD, the district. So after 6 years, we will see the saving applied to LLD, the district.
No, the reason I was asking is I was thinking of the park baseball diamond, because that's pretty costly with the types of lights, because they're old lights that we've got out there. And I'm wondering if that can be a part of the project.
Would you like to step up and
Yeah.
maybe address it? Thanks. Just if you could just state your name for the record.
Good evening, Mayor Caton. Good evening, council members. My name is Peter Mendez, or Pete Mendez. I have one of those flexible names, whichever one you feel comfortable calling me. I'm a customer relationship manager with PG&E, and in essence have been the assigned account manager to the city of Newman for about 7 years. My primary communication channel has always been through the Public Works Department. I had a pretty good working relationship with your former Public Works Director, Mr. Garner Reynolds. And in the time being here, Mr. Kim, I feel I'm basically developing the same kind of relationship. This resolution that's before you is a fantastic opportunity for the city of Newman to take advantage of PG&E's zero-interest loan program to finance the changeover from the high-pressure sodium lights over to more efficient LED technology. So if you have some questions for me, I'd be happy to try to address them for you. And I think, Mr. Hutchins, you had a question about them being utilized for baseball lighting?
Well, we've got a city park that has, they're also old sodium lights. They've been there forever. And is this zero loan program only, can it only be used for street lights, or could it be used for other city-owned?
Yeah, the program, basically, this resolution is strictly for the city-owned street lights. But
Okay.
the zero interest loan program can be used for other energy efficiency projects. So we can definitely take a look at that if you're interested, as a separate basis or a separate case.
Aren't those street lights that we have in the park, aren't they street lights?
Yeah, I don't know if they're metal halide or what they were. I haven't looked up it recently, but yeah, they're antiquated.
Yeah.
So we could probably get better lighting and more effective or more efficient.
Well, I
level.
just think, because we got 9 of the main lights are out, the bottom lights all around the field are all out, have been all year. So they're going to have to be replaced sooner or later. If we can do it through a 0% loan and it's less costly, it just might be something that if we could look at.
We will. We'll follow up with Mr. Mendez here and see if that's something that we can apply for.
We can definitely take a look at it. I think we'd have to look at what the limit is on the zero interest loan program per customer. But if there's some space, we can definitely look at it for you. I'd be happy to follow up with you on that later.
That'd be great.
Any additional questions, or?
No, thanks, Pete.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Christina, thank you. Council direction?
I recommend that we adopt Resolution 2014 next in number, approving an application to receive a PG&E on-bill financing 0% loan for conversion of street lighting to energy-efficient fixtures, and authorize the city manager to execute associated documents.
I second that motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0 with council members Candia and Davis absent. Thank you. Item F, adopt resolution 2014 next in number, a resolution approving amendment number 1 to the purchase and sale agreement between the city and George and Marlene Souza. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. As you know, in March, the council authorized the city manager to execute a land purchase and sale agreement for 103 acres. That land is adjacent to Canal School Road and Brazo Road there, and it's going to be part of our storm drainage and wastewater treatment facility. Part of the agreement indicated that we would make 3 payments to Mr. Souza and Mr. Souza and Mrs. Souza for a total sum of $1.3 million. Part of that was also because there's a smaller 22-acre parcel on there that has some CCID water rights, and he was going to try to take that water and apply it to some of his other farmland. He's run across some legal issues with respect to the legal description of that particular property, and it's really created some havoc on moving forward. So he's requesting, and we don't have any problem moving forward with it, is to go ahead and just cash him out at the $1.3 million effective early next month. We take all the 103 acres of land, and we keep the 22 acres of CCID water rights, which would be very helpful with our wastewater treatment plant as well. So it actually is a win-win situation for both parties on this particular time. So if the council so chooses and elects to approve amendment number 1, which is attached as to your staff report here, we would move forward with this agreement and then execute, and probably final escrow would be done early in June. So essentially, the terms are the same in terms of the sale price.
He was going to farm that for 2 years. Now that will no longer
That
occur.
he probably will still run his cattle on there as long as we're not utilizing it and getting converted over to our particular project. It's going to take a little while to get the financing available, as well as get the plans engineered in order to convert that to the use that we're looking at. In the meantime, he'll continue to run his cattle on there.
Michael, will we have to do an EIR on that property before we can?
I don't know that we'll have to do an EIR. We might have to. The construction of the actual project itself will require some kind of CEQA document because it's in excess of 5 acres. But until we know the final description of the project and until we get into the development plan process, We don't even know what the project's going to look like in order to write an environmental at this time, but you're correct. At some point, we'll probably do probably a mitigated negative declaration to go along with the project plans.
Well, I just think about finding something out there that's
Well, the
is
good thing
protected, and all of a sudden we can't use the property. That's what.
No, Councilmember, the intent of this purchase is to reconstruct wetlands.
Okay.
That's the intent of this project, is to reconstruct wetlands that are already out there. So we're trying to reestablish some of the wetlands that were already here, because that'll serve as a natural bio filter as for our stormwater as it goes through the process and cleans itself up. So it'll actually be an environmental benefit more than anything. All we have to do really is mitigate the construction impacts that are going to occur by moving the land around and stuff like that. But otherwise, I think the long-term impacts are positive in terms of water quality out there.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Council direction?
I so move that we adopt resolution number 2014, next number, a resolution approving amendment number 1 to the purchase and sale agreement between the city and George and Marlene Souza.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion opposed? Motion carries 3-0 with Councilmembers Candia and Davis absent. Thank you. Item 11, items from District 5 Supervisor. He's not here. Go to item 12, items from City Manager and staff. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. Supervisor DeMartini sends his regards. Unfortunately, he's out of town tonight, so he wasn't able to join us. Just want to let the council know, if you're still interested in baseball or softball, it's your last chance. We're in the middle of playoffs, and we're not anymore, but the other teams are.
I'm missing my grandson's game tonight.
So, but that'll occur for the next 2 weeks. I think the finals will really be starting to happen next week. So, a lot of good baseball and softball going on right now. It's that time of the year that movie night is coming back. So June 7th will be our first movie, and it's an all-time favorite for, I know, many children as well as adults, and it's Toy Story, which really set off a new wave of type of movies that came out with those animation movies. And then lastly, you've seen the floors that are out there. I know you're looking at it right now. It's kind of a little bit dull with respect to how they look. They're going to come in. They have to get buffed. They have to get sealed. There's still some steps to occur. Unfortunately, they didn't order enough, so there's a small portion over by our payment center that still needs to get laid. So a lot of that work will be occurring this week as well. I think we're going to go ahead and look at doing some silk kind of greenery out there to kind of add a little bit of color, so it's not so brown and white in what you're seeing out there. So with that, I can answer any questions that the council may have at this time.
Questions or comments for the City Manager? Okay, thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Chief?
I don't have anything tonight, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No, I'm good. Steph?
I just wanted to inform the council that we were notified that we received the $15,000 Sierra Health grant for the Skate Plaza. So that is a little bit more money in the bucket, which means less money out of our pocket. So just
That's a good
wanted to
thing.
report the good news.
Any other questions or comments for Steph? Thank you. Luke?
Just a reminder, next council meeting, 6 o'clock, we have our budget workshop everybody looks forward to every year. I've got copies of the budget in front of you there, and we'll get copies out to Councilmember Davis and Candia. If you read through them and have any questions before the workshop, feel free to email me, come by, give me a call, and I'll get you your answers.
Good reading every night before you go to sleep, right?
Oh, it's fantastic. Knocks you right out.
Yeah, you're providing dinner, aren't you?
Work on it.
Not in the budget.
Hope you don't want me to cook.
Thanks, Lou. Listen?
Yeah, just one item to update on the water well number 5. The improvement was done, and the capacity increased from 350 GPM, gallon per minute, to over 900. So we are ready for the summer right now.
Great.
That's all.
Great. Thank you. Bob, anything?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Don?
Just one question on a letter we got in our packet from this young man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We provide that in the packet in case you wanted to do something about that. We have not contacted them, but there is money in your community promotions if that's something that you want to explore.
Yeah, I had just a couple of comments about it. I don't know it's a great thing. I'm not sure what, if anything, the school district is doing. I would imagine probably not much. Or the Boosters Club. I'm not so sure it's something that the city should get involved in. It's a great opportunity. My daughter was very fortunate. She got the same letter, and she went to Brussels for 2 weeks and played basketball with her and Natalie Mattis. And they did a lot of fundraising. I mean, they washed cars, they sold raffle tickets, they did baking thing, they did a lot of things, but they raised their own money. It's a great opportunity, but I'm just not so sure that.
Well, you know what I was wondering also, there's more than one location. I think there's one in LA and there's one in San Francisco. So I just think it's a regional thing as far as there's different regions that have these programs. So maybe
Well, the USA national teams, they send invitations throughout the area to different schools, and I think, I'm not so sure, coaches may submit their names. I'm not real sure how they get the invite, but I mean, I'm open for suggestion from the council, but I'm just.
Well, I personally think, it'd be nice to get our name out, as with a kid from the city of Newman going into it, just like, but I would want to know more about what he's going to do for his own fundraising before I would want to say what the city would do. If he says he's going to sell a few shirts and make $100, and then, and that's, if he wants to go to this, to me, that's one of those things that you get out and you do the work.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be laws, and I would add that, I would like to know if the school district's going to do anything.
Yeah, me too.
well, do we know what the cost is?
Well, he indicates it's $850 just to attend, but
Yeah,
that doesn't include travel and
You're probably talking $1,700 to $1,800,
Or
especially
more.
if he has somebody go with him.
or more.
Or more.
Yeah, he said he wanted his mother to go or something.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the flight and everything is quite expensive, but I just think. He's 14. He goes to Yola Middle School, and I'm not sure what kind of football he's gonna play, but I don't know. I'd like to know if the high school or the school district is doing it.
What I'd also like to know is because if he's only 14, he's probably played for the 49ers.
He's played youth football.
He's played youth football.
Yeah.
Are they gonna? I mean, because he's coming out of their league. He's not coming out of a school league.
Right.
Because he's not even eligible to play in school yet until he gets to high school.
And I'm quite surprised that at being junior high he's getting this kind of invitation.
Yeah.
He hasn't even played any high school ball, and when my daughter went to Brussels, she had played at least 2 years of basketball in high school. So I'm inclined not to support it, but whatever council direction is. I'm happy for the kid. Maybe that came out wrong. I would just, for me, I just want to know what school district's going to, I mean, he goes to our local schools. Are they even supporting his adventure?
And if the council so desires, I can reach out, talk to the family about it, and send you an email about kind of where everything stands, and
Yeah.
kind of give you an update on it and see how everything's going.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay. That's good.
That's all I had.
Okay. That was one of the things I had. The other thing is, I was given some information by the Salvation Army. There's a couple more programs that they've come out with that Salvation Army has come up with, and it's called the DFAP program, which is the Drought Food Assistance Program for those families that are in need. And it kind of outlines family members who've either lost a job or working hours have been reduced and having less income. The Salvation Army has come up with another program to provide food for a family of 4 for up to 5 days. where they can pick up a box. Obviously, it's free of charge. I have some contact information. This came from the Department of Social Services. But Salvation Army is the contact. So anybody who is in need of assistance can contact Salvation Army in Modesto with their food program. There's a phone number associated with 577-3600. Also, we have local representatives through the Salvation Army, Kat Lightsey and Deanne Caton, who run the Stable Living program here in town. They're the contacts for Salvation Army. So you can contact either one of those ladies or Salvation Army if you're in need for the food assistance program. And they also do food commodities the fourth Wednesday of the month at their Presbyterian Church from 10 to 1, where Salvation Army distributes food for anybody who's in need. So just additional services available to our residents if need be. And let's see. Councilmember Hutchins and I, last weekend, 2 weekends ago, what's that day?
Yeah.
We're the guests of Walter Newman, and we took the Miss Newman Court over for our annual lunch with Walter Newman, and he treats the girls to a brunch and then a play at the Children's Theater in San Jose. This year was Cats. It was an outstanding performance, just outstanding. And this is like the 5th year I think that I've gone, and Mr. Newman likes to treat the girls to it, and it's a fabulous production. And I would encourage anybody, if you get a chance to go to the Children's Theater in San Jose, they just do a wonderful job, and it was a lot of fun. So, and what Walter does is, within Miss Newman is crowned, he gives her a list of the productions throughout the year and lets her decide what production they're going to go see. And then with that selection, then he invites myself and Don and the ladies from the Fall Festival, and of course the Miss Newman candidates, and so it's a fun afternoon at San Jose. And let's see, the other thing is I attended the Memorial Day service yesterday at Hills Ferry Cemetery, and it was, as usual, it's a very nice event that they do at the local cemetery, and they invite everybody then to the hall in Gustine for pie and ice cream. So that was it was a nice touch, as they always do for the veterans. And let's see, we already talked about students. So with that, I have nothing else. So motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It carries 3-0. Good night, everybody.
Adios.